Ooh, mustache and sort of goatee coming in.
So here's the thing. I want to
You're
bring
looking.
back the
Hold on.
mustache.
Shut up for a second.
Okay.
You're looking hot, dude.
Okay, can I fucking speak now?
No. Shut up for a second. You're looking smoking. 1, 2, 3.
Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners.
Yum, yum.
Oscar Wieners.
Welcome to Oscar Wieners,
Indeed.
the only show on the internet for Hollywood's biggest night. Yo, you shouldn't hang out with those kids on the corner. Come on, they're a bunch of bums.
A bunch of fucking bombs. You know
Come on.
It's like fucking at all. They don't curse at all. This is rated PG.
Yeah, it's PG.
I didn't even clock that. There's a lot of un-PG stuff that I mean, like, they slice his eye, blood spurts everywhere.
Yeah, that was I literally winced when that happened. I was like, what the hell? I don't remember that shit.
That will never not make me wince.
Is that a thing they do if your eye's swollen? They cut it
Yeah.
to like what? It makes the swelling go down?
It makes the swelling go down.
Oh
Yes,
my
it's-
god, that's disgusting.
Yeah, dude, don't be a professional fighter. Not that you were I don't know, were you planning on it?
No.
Did this inspire you in any way?
I think boxing would help maybe chill me out a little bit. Not like actually like boxing people, but just like, you know.
Hitting the heavy bag?
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever try to hit the speed bag?
No. It looks so cool though.
It looks so cool. It's so hard to get that actual rhythm going. Like, it's so immediately deflating upon even attempting it. So I recommend you don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say I won't. I'm Gazzo.
Okay.
Or is it
Spider?
It's Gazzo, right?
What are you talking about? I don't know who that is.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm Gazzo. I'm Tony Gazzo. I'm a fucking loan shark. Ever heard of it?
Cool. Truly a character that I probably had forgotten about and would have been lost to the annals of history, but I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's made his. I don't think he ever appears in any other Rocky film in the franchise.
Well, whatever. What's good answer? What's your fucking stupid name?
I'm Spider Rico, and I stupid. Okay, I'm the first guy Rocky fights.
Oh, right.
It's funny because I used to play the Rocky boxing video game for Xbox growing up, and there are probably like 30 characters in this game that you can play as or fight against, and all of them are just like one-off names that get mentioned. Like, they're like, Dipper Brown is here. Like, Dipper Brown takes his locker, and I'm like, oh shit, Dipper Brown. Like, every time they mention a name, I'm like, oh my god, it's Joe Zack.
No, Michael. He's Andrew, actually. He's not Spider Rico.
Damn.
I'm not Tony Gazzo.
Damn. I really wish you were, and that I was.
And this is a podcast where we could pick a best picture wiener at random and try to figure out if it's best picture worthy. And we've come to the first of the final 10 Oscar contenders.
Wow. That just kind of hit me. I don't think.
But this week we're talking about 1977 Best Picture winner John G. Avildsen's the very famous director everybody talks about,
The GOAT.
Rocky.
Wow.
Sorry, Sylvester Stallone as the titular Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion. Talia Shire is Adrian, the just a normal shy girl who works at the local pet shop, and Rocky pesters her, but actually she likes him, so it's fine.
It's fine. If you have a girl who you fancy that doesn't want anything to do with you, just plant a fat one on her and she'll change her whole persona overnight.
Bring her back to your apartment, and if she's uncomfortable, say, no, come on, Adrian, stay. Just stay. And then take off your shirt and show off your cannons, and then eventually she'll really into it, I guess.
Home decor tip. Make sure you plunge plenty of knives into mattresses that are hung up on the wall.
Make sure you're
Cool.
make sure your bed is covered in footprints because you're always hopping in your bed with shoes on like a sicko walking the dirty Philadelphia streets.
And here's a fun DIY tip. Collect all your beer bottles and put them behind the sofa for maximum comfort and pleasure. Insane scene, that is.
It's crazy. Whatever. Who else we got? We got Burt Young as Paulie Panino.
Everyone's favorite.
That's Paul. You know, I was wondering what Adrian's last name is, and I was like, are they supposed to be Italian, her and Paulie? I feel like yeah, and they aren't.
I dare you to meet a Paulie that's Prussian.
We also have Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed. Not in as much as I remember.
No, this movie's a lot shorter than I remember.
See, but it's still 2 hours.
I thought it was 90.
The crazy thing about here's why you think this movie's shorter than it is, because the fight stuff is maybe 45 minutes, and then the first hour and 15 is Rocky just walking around.
Right, but I think this is one aspect of this movie that people fail to grasp, and not that you can see a movie in a wrong way. But a lot of people are like, there's not enough boxing in this. This is not a boxing movie. I feel like it has that reputation, and it's really more of a character study.
100%. I think also this movie gets overshadowed by the sequels, which like I don't know if I might have cut it out of the times we've talked about Rocky on this podcast, and so I'll just say it again, but I'll talk about my relationship to Rocky because I know you have an encyclopedia to get into about your relationship to Rocky. It's just 1 through 5 was always on fucking AMC when I was growing up.
On repeat, yeah.
On repeat, like every week. Still is, probably, yeah. So I think I've seen this whole movie in bits and pieces. I don't know if I've ever seen it just from start to finish.
Wow.
2 and 3 I've seen bits and pieces of, but like not the whole. Like I don't really have memories of those movies. Like beyond, I think Mr. T is in 3.
Yeah, that one's excellent.
And does
2
Rocky
sucks actually? 2's not. Well, it doesn't suck. It's just like very mediocre.
Yeah. Rocky 4 I've seen maybe more than any other movie in my life.
Really? And how is that?
I just loved it. I bought into the propaganda, I guess.
Oh, okay. It's interesting. It's so out of character for you.
Rocky 5 I've also seen a lot, and even as a kid watching it, I was like, this isn't very good.
No, that's
Rocky 5 feels like it's trying to get back to the first Rocky like vibes, where it's like he's mostly hanging out. He's trying to deal with his son, but it just doesn't work like it did.
No.
And I think the series kind of overshadows the nuances of this first movie and the sort of like very ground level, like almost like grittiness of this movie.
Yeah, there's a certain grit to it. Not to turn this into the Rocky 5 episode, but
no,
it also lacks the surprise factor of the Bill Conti score.
Right.
Whereas the first one, I feel like those moments come in, and I think they're so much more impactful because you're listening to them with fresh ears.
Go ahead, open up your encyclopedia and get into your Rocky history.
I don't have much of an encyclopedia. I like this movie a lot when I was a kid. It was my dad's favorite movie, and we always watched it together growing up. And to this day, whenever it pops onto AMC, he's like, "Oh, Rocky 4 is out," and it's just like a very blurry screen grab of like Ivan Drago like training. He's got like all the things hooked up to him. But I hadn't seen this probably since I was a young teen, like 14 years old, maybe. So granted, I've changed a lot in that time span. The movie has stayed the same as movies do. And I was curious if it would stay the same in my mind's eye as I revisited it. And it really did it. I feel like it took kind of new shape into how I interpreted it as now an adult approaching my my 30s, believe it or not. If one can buy into that. There are flaws, to be sure. This is not a perfect film. I don't know if a perfect film exists, but that we touched on in the beginning. The whole scene where he's just their first date, him and Adrian, and he's just like really pushy and persistent. It's really cringeworthy and hard to watch. And then the biggest offender is that it changes her whole character in an instant, which is very far-fetched. There are, I mean, even with Mick is his trainer in the movie, played by Burgess Meredith. They have kind of this moment where he comes to his apartment and, Rocky's now been tapped to fight Apollo Creed just out of pure luck. And Mick is kind of trying to ride his coattails. He's been hard on him all these years. Like, he just kicked him out of the gym, basically got rid of his locker. And now he all of a sudden wants to be his manager. And Rocky's like, fuck you, basically. Really lays into him and is like, you weren't there for me when I needed you, all this stuff. And it's like a very powerful moment that kind of gets undermined by the fact that Mick leaves his apartment and Rocky immediately just runs up to him, shakes his hand, apologizes. But we don't even hear any of the dialogue they share. That part irked me a bit because that's a whole huge character change for both Rocky and for Mick. And you're like, what happened in the moments where Mick was leaving his apartment that Rocky decided to reconsider? That sudden character shifts bother me a bit. But all that aside, this is still the greatest movie ever made. I kind of wanted to do like a little I thought about doing a little bait and switch at the beginning of being like, I don't know how I feel about that, but like, this is just the greatest movie ever made. I don't know how else to say it.
See, you said there's no such thing as, I think this movie's perfect.
Wow. Okay.
I think this movie's diamond. My Letterboxd review was diamond cut.
Really? Oh yeah. This actually surprised. I don't know why. I thought you were gonna pick at it a little bit.
I mean, I make fun of the scene where Adrian and Rocky kind of because their first date on the ice is great. That's like
this has more than any other movie I've seen, the ability to load your screen time with iconic moment after iconic moment that stays with you and in your memory decades after it's over.
Yeah.
That's fucking movies, dude. That's what this is for.
Like I was like welling up at just like when iconic shit was happening. When he runs up the steps like the second time and he does it, I'm like, what? Like not even being like silly. I'm like, why? This is why people watch movies.
Yes, exactly right. It has to instill you with that feeling. Like, I understand if maybe you don't take to the character of Rocky or you don't relate to him. I understand if you look at Sylvester Stallone as a character, actor, and person, and you associate him with the Rambos as
Tulsa King.
Sure, Tulsa King and all the franchises and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I get if you see this movie and associate it with, a sweaty frat boy apartment, lazily hung dorm poster. But if you're one of those people who has that preconceived notion, I urge you to reconsider and see this film for what it is. And it's the ultimate underdog story.
Yeah. Like, and I think this movie's so sweet.
It's very sweet.
It's so sentimental in a way that, like, this movie, watching it, like, I said it was kind of gritty, and it's the 2/3 of the movie is this guy just kind of walking around talking to people.
And just air punching.
The movie opens with a boxing match.
Yeah.
That's kind of mid. You're like, I don't know if, watching it again, I was like, I don't think Rocky's like a good boxer.
The fight is mid, yeah. I think I like the atmosphere that they introduced.
Oh, yeah.
You have the slow camera in, and you have like the big Mother Mary, and it's kind of like this church boxing ring. It's atmospheric.
The way it's put together is perfect, but I just think, like, I'm just watching it, I'm like, it's more just like a character thing. I'm like, damn, he's like not the greatest. It's like, and he's fighting a guy who's like probably even less good than he is because he beats him.
Right. There's no inkling to suggest that Rocky is this superior fighter who just like hasn't been given a chance. Like he's mid, but aren't we
And
all?
truly, well, I'm watching it again. Well, sorry, there's like a million thoughts going on in my head. So first thing I was gonna say was like, this movie's very sweet, but also because it's this guy walking around for an hour and a half, it's and this is kind of coming like at the tail. This is 1976. It comes out 1977. It wins Best Picture, and it's sort of like the new Hollywood movement of like, Coppola and George Lucas and Scorsese, Spielberg, all these guys coming up and like kind of like changing movies forever. Um, is coming sort of, it's sort of arcing down. It's slowly coming down, and this movie feels like a cross section of new Hollywood, kind of like more like low level, like it's kind of like mumbly, it's sort of improvisational feeling movies about like better character studies, like you were saying, mixed with the spectacle of movies like today that would come and that just can't reach the heights of this because this did it first. This is like the Rosetta Stone for this kind of thing. And just like the merging of those two, it's such a perfect mix. It's crowd pleasing, but also like it feels scuzzy in the way that like it feels like the people who made this movie fucking lived this shit. And like, yeah.
Because they did.
Yeah.
Like this was made on Sylvester Stallone's last dollar. He had to sell his dog to pay his bills. And it's a story of a guy who despite all that took a chance and an idea and it paid off. Like how I get that that's not the movie itself, but so much of that is injected into the movie.
No, it kind of is though. It's like this Rocky gets his last chance by chance. It's totally random. And he's like
completely.
And there's that scene near the end where he's like where he gets up, he walks to like the arena where they're gonna have the fight. Then he comes back and lays in bed with Adrian and he's like so terrified that he's gonna just like squander this opportunity. And he's like, I don't know if I have it in me to like actually do this now that I have the chance to do it.
That's the best scene in the whole movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things that it's a moment in movies that shaped me. Mm-hmm. Now, similar to how, shout out to Anna Giacometti, how Spotlight shaped her life, even though I don't like that movie very much. The moment where he says he just wants to go the distance, you realize that you can paint success by your own definition.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does. Because I think this movie often gets very misinterpreted in the sense, like, people are disappointed that he doesn't win the fight or think that it's pointless that he doesn't win the fight. But that's not his goal. It's not his objective. That's not what he wants. His idea of success is to just last, to survive 15 rounds. And he achieves that. Yeah. And that's why the ending is as triumphant as it is, even though he loses.
We're jumping all over. Who cares? This is like this.
This is
was an iconic movie ever made.
Yeah, people are familiar with this, I think.
I kind of forgot, because I also, like, even though I'd seen this movie kind of fully in bits and pieces, like, I also hadn't seen it. Like, I laid my eyes on a frame of Rocky 1976 in, like, probably a decade, maybe more.
Yeah.
The ending is so, like, the decision of the fight is so tossed off. And, like, it so effectively communicates, like, visually and just like performance wise that like he doesn't give a shit about like if he won. And the ending made me cry. I was like weeping when he's calling out to Adrian. I mean, it's like iconic shit, everybody knows it, but it's still so like powerful and like almost surprising, because you're like, I didn't think this is how the movie would like decide to end.
Yeah,
I thought it was all about the fight. But also the movie teaches you that it isn't about the fight, because like his relationship to Adrian takes up way more than any of the boxing stuff does in the movie.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And I feel like a line that people often disregard or forget about because it's so fast is that, everyone remembers the "Yo, Adrian," and then he's yelling for her and she comes to him in the ring. And as soon as he sees her, he goes, "Where's your hat?" lost around in the crowd. Like he's just such a funny, unique character that gets played off as dumb and sometimes a bit confusing. I think a lot of people think. Um, that's just who he is. Like there's so many comedy beats in this movie where he's like Nick comes to his apartment at one point and he's explaining his turtles to him. He's like, this is Cuff and Link, and in the tank, these are marbles. But he's dead serious every time he delivers that. I'm cracking up. Like, this movie is funny. But those moments could so easily be played off as just goofy little one-off things. Like, he's walking home from Adrian's apartment after walking her home, and he's like, just like shadow boxing and like fake punches a streetlight. And it could come off as so ridiculous, but then the Bill Conti score comes in, like just like a random orchestral hit that's so beautiful and somber and reflective that it turns any of those goofy moments into sincere moments. And I think that's incredibly powerful.
Sylvester Stallone is great in this movie. He's unbelievable. So he's unbelievable in the way that you're like, oh, they just found, like, obviously it's hard watching this movie now to separate yourself from like, okay, I know who like Sylvester Stallone is, but I really tried watching this to do that. And I'm like, watching this in 1976, I mean, I think he'd been in like, I don't know if he'd ever starred in a movie prior to this, but I think he'd like done like,
he did
right,
porn acting and some small roles.
Yeah.
Clearly, he was a porn actor.
That's
the bills.
I mean, he's a good looking guy, so okay.
Good looking guy.
But I can imagine watching this in 1976 just being like, that's weird that the lead of the movie is just some guy they found on the street.
Yeah.
Like he feels so authentic.
And it so easily could have been Burt Reynolds. You have no idea. Like he pitched the script to a studio. The studio was like, yeah, we want to make this movie. We'll give you, you know what they said to him? I looked this up beforehand because I was curious. They said, we're going to give you $360,000, you personally, to buy the script from you, and then we'll make the movie. And he said, I want to be in it. And they said, no. And he said, no, right back. Like, I just really want to be in this movie. I have a good feeling about it. Trusted his gut. The studio was like, okay. I mean, you're not going to get the same amount of money that we would have paid for it, but fine. So he's making this, with a budget of, I think it was like $1 million for the whole movie, which is, I mean, when you see the movie, you realize, yeah, I probably could have made this movie with $1 million. You're right. It's a lot of him just like walking around, talking to people. But the atmosphere is still so rich and unique. And I think it's because Philadelphia is so unique and not a setting that we usually see in stories. Like we've seen New York done to, it just in this Oscars pantheon alone, we've seen it dozens of times.
Yeah.
And New York is iconic, but this is so unique because it's Philadelphia and it's an unsung city with an unsung hero living in it.
Yeah, totally.
And how sick is that shit?
It's sick as hell.
Yeah. Also, it's cold. And I like that it was cold.
It's cold, and I'm just like, probably because he can't really afford like a nice jacket, but I'm like, he's just wearing like a leather jacket. I'm like, you're probably fucking frosty, dude.
Like, how does seeing him go out for runs at 5 a.m. and drinking raw egg, like, how does that not, I get that maybe it tinges a little masculine, but how does that not inspire something within you?
Yeah, no, this movie really connected. As you said, we're approaching 30. At one point, Rocky's canonically in this movie, he's like 30 years old. I think he says it to somebody. And it feels like throughout the movie, people are just, I mean, especially Mickey, who just absolutely lays into him. People are just kind of saying like, you're past your prime. Like,
yeah,
you have, before the Apollo Creed stuff happens, it's like, yeah, I think even it's the age rate. He's like, he basically just boxes kind of as like a hobby at this. Like, it's not like something that he's trying to make. He's not trying to make it his life anymore. He's like, he's kind of over the hill in this sport. And that really resonated with me. I was like, damn, I feel that. I'm just like, I know people who are older than 30 are going to be like, all right, what are you crying about? But I'm just like, damn, I feel fucking old. I just feel like
Stop.
life is just racing towards the fucking finish. And I really resonated with this movie. And like, um, I don't know.
And he also accomplished his measure of success
Yeah.
at his age, and we could do it. We could do the same at our age, and you could do the same at any age. Like that's what it symbolizes.
No, I'm washed out, dude.
What,
You don't even know. I'm,
dude? Your posture is crazy.
I'm washed out, man.
That's a problem. So you don't have any bone structure.
I'm washed out, dude.
You need a little. You need a little bit of that music.
Paulie's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, police. It's funny how lovable I thought he was as a kid, and now I'm like, oh, this is a garbage friend and brother in person.
I feel like eventually I'd like to rewatch all the movies. I feel like he becomes even more just like sort of like the kind of like foul-mouthed sidekick, which he is in this, but like whereas in the other movies it maybe like the edges get sanded over and smoothed out a little bit. In this, it's like this is a guy I know, and I fucking walk to the other side of the street to avoid him because he's like either gonna ask me for fucking money or he's gonna like pitch me a fucking idea he has, and then when I don't like it, he's gonna like call my girlfriend something obscene.
Right, but it's funny because I'm thinking about Rocky Balboa, which is the sixth entry in the franchise. He really does not change as a character. He's pretty much the same guy. Like he still works at the meat packing factory. I think he gets laid off in Rocky Balboa, and Rocky's like, "What's the matter? They give you a gold watch?" And Paulie's like, "I got a watch. I got two watches." So he's like, still trying to like ride Rocky's coattails and all this stuff. So for what it's worth, his character does not change. Yeah, he's kind of a weird guy. You don't really like him. You're kind of wondering why Rocky and him are friends. I think it's just because despite his character flaws, he's still just been there. Not in the sense that like he supported Rocky, because it doesn't seem like he ever has or will, but he's just there. He's present.
I thought it was really interesting. Like Adrian and Paulie, and then Rocky are both people without families. I mean, obviously Adrian and Paulie are family, but they don't have.
Right.
Adrian and Paulie spend Thanksgiving. They're going to spend Thanksgiving just with them two.
Yeah.
Like, and these feel like very lonely people who like either were sort of pushed out by their families or like kind of like abused by their families like in one way or another, and like there's no communication anymore, or it's just like everybody's died. This is like a hard city.
Yeah.
Paulie works in fucking meatpacking. He's an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
Meatpacking doesn't look like a nice job. You're cold all the time. You're tired. You're fucking drunk from the night before. This is not a place where people have longevity, and it just feels very lonely. And it's like, but these people like, so you stick with a Paulie because it's like, well, he's who I got.
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like those three main characters are sort of the same ilk. Like life has kind of beaten them up in some way, shape, or form. And then they introduce Apollo Creed as a character, and he's just such a stark contrast. Like California raised, just more entertainer than he is a fighter. And just immediately takes control of everything and grabs the spotlight. Like, both within the context of the film and in a more meta context, like he grabs your attention as a viewer. It's funny to see that contrast, and it paints such a great rivalry between him and Rocky because you don't get to see them much together. If you're going to build up a conflict that comes at the climax of the movie, like you want to see those characters interact at some point, and build that tension. But I think the movie does a great job of building tension just by these two characters being who they are and how diametrically opposed they are. Like I feel like already it does so many things that just speak the language of the audience and say like, this is this side, this is this side. And I feel like as a viewer, I'm so easily able to pick up on that.
That's a great point. What you said.
Thanks, man.
Um, yeah. Carl Weathers is great in this movie. I know him and Rocky become friends like after this movie.
It does really be. I do love the series when Carl Weathers and Apollo Creed by nature become friend when he becomes friends with Rocky.
Yeah.
I like their relationship a lot.
Yeah.
And I like how that grows and develops. Like over the series, that's probably the most interesting character development.
Yeah.
Is to see them become friends and training partners.
Yeah.
Because they form a really close connection that you like. But that's for down the line. That doesn't happen yet.
Is it Rocky 3 where it ends with Rocky and Apollo sparring in like that farm boxing ring?
Yes. Yeah.
And Carl Weathers goes, ding, ding.
God,
that's good.
It was so good. This movie just speaks the language of people. Like when you see the training montage, that just resonates with anybody. I don't know how that doesn't make, like, if you don't love this movie, I understand. If you don't like this movie, I understand. But if you don't feel something watching this, the only thing I understand is that you're fucking dead. You're 6 feet under, you're pushing a daisy. It's the only explanation. You have a heartbeat of 0.
And the training montage, like, the series becomes famous for its training montages. Like Rocky
invented the training montage.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the one.
Right. And Rocky 4, it's like he's lifting up fucking like tree trunks and shit. He's doing crazy shit while being followed by like fucking Russian secret police or whatever.
That's one does, yeah.
But this one, again, we've spoken about this throughout this whole show about like, because we've watched so many movies where it's like the first kind of movie doing what it's doing. And the training montage in this movie just feels, even now watching it, if you've seen this movie 100 times, I feel like it will still feel so like fresh and like earned by,
yes,
coming off of the previous 90 minutes where like you've just watching him, like he walks around the neighborhood. We've talked about this. He walks around, talks to everybody. Everybody is basically like, everybody who isn't Paulie and Gazzo are just shitting on him. And Adrian, I guess. Everybody's just like, yeah, that guy, he's a fucking bum. He tries to give a fucking after school special talk to this girl who's smoking cigarettes on the corner with boys, and she's like, up yours, ass. He's like, oh, that's not nice to do to somebody. And then he walks off bouncing his fucking ball.
And it's so fun. I mean, that moment in particular, it's funny because you just kind of perceive him as this guy where all these emotional attacks just kind of bounce off him. But then the tone of, again, it's the score, the tone of the music comes in and really makes you realize, like, he takes these things to heart and he's a sentimental person. At least that's my interpretation of it.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. It's just fucking a masterpiece and it'll make you feel something. And there's so much that we haven't touched on that I think still makes it worth watching and endlessly rewatchable. I think that's such a valuable thing in a movie.
100%. I think this is it's a perfect movie.
Damn. It's not just for the boys.
No way.
This is for anybody who ever wanted anything in the world, told them no, and one person in your corner told you you can. This is for you.
100%. Beautifully put. Do you want to hear the other Best Picture nominees?
Do I give a shit?
This is a stacked year.
Really? Okay, let's hear them.
First of all, we have to talk about how Bill Conti did not win for Best Original Score.
That's fucking crazy.
What are we doing, Academy?
Who did? Let's dox them. Let's dox their ass.
Who won? I think it was Jerry Goldsmith, a great composer, for The Omen. But like, what? Bill Conti wasn't even nominated for original score.
I wonder if that's a byproduct of it being independent or not known, or maybe he's in a different category.
Maybe. He was nominated for Gonna Fly Now, which he composed the music for.
Yeah, fucking yeah.
But it didn't win. That song didn't win.
That's crazy. it just drips iconic. It's
I mean,
the soundtrack to everyone succeeding in anything. How is that not the best song? That's crazy.
yeah, it's one of those flubs where it's like they didn't know that Rocky was gonna stand the test of time. They were just like, "Yo, this is a great movie. It gets Best Picture," but
Yeah, I mean, we're no stranger to those.
Yeah.
There have been some baffling choices that have not stood the test of time.
Yeah.
The Academy. So who else is up there?
I got four other nominations. First up, a movie we actually just talked about in the Spotlight episode. I might have cut that out. I actually don't remember. But we did talk about it. People just might not have seen it. It is Alan J. Pakula's All the President's Men.
Why do I feel like All the President's Men has come up like 8 times during the course of the show?
Probably because it's the Great American Movie. I don't know.
Is it great? Have you?
I've never seen it. I've never. It's definitely like a big blind spot because I think probably when I see it, it'll become my favorite movie ever.
Wow.
Obviously, it's about Woodward and Bernstein, who during the 1972 election, they investigate the Watergate scandal conducted by President Nixon against his opponent, whose name I don't know and frankly don't care. Next up is the only nominee I think that has kind of been forgotten, but it's a movie I've never seen and really want to because the subject matter just like completely appeals to me. Also, it's directed by Hal Ashby, who's a great director. He did Harold and Maude, The Last Detail, Being There with Peter Sellers.
Oh, sure.
It is the David Carradine starring Bound for Glory, which is a biography. Hold on, you're gonna love this. A biography of Woody Guthrie.
Oh, really?
He's cool.
Okay, yeah.
One of America's greatest folk singers.
Cool.
He left his dust-devastated Texas home in the 30s to find work, discovering the suffering and strength of America's working class, which basically sounds like a movie that Hal Ashby was like, "Here you go, Mike. Enjoy this. You fucking..."
To you?
Yeah.
I think Hal Ashby said that to you.
He said it to me. He 20 years before I was born.
That's amazing. He said, this kid Mike O'Brien's going to love this. Is it a biopic?
Yeah. It's based on Woody Guthrie. Like he wrote like a memoir at some point before he passed. And it's based on that. Direct from the source.
Cool.
Next up, we have Sidney Lumet, another great director. Dog Day Afternoon, which was nominated. I think it was the Cuckoo's Nest year. It is Network.
Why do I feel like we've talked about Network?
Do you know anything about Network? I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Just let me tell you about Network. So Network is a movie about the guy who founded CNN, and he said he was under fire from some shit, and then he was like, I'm not. He said, what did you say? He said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And that's kind of like the climax of the movie. It's really like this symbolic gesture that has stood the test of time. Any questions?
No, just a retort. So Network is actually about veteran anchorman Howard Beale.
Okay.
Played by, I think, Peter Finch. Yeah. Who's forced to retire his 25-year post because of his age, and then he announces to viewers that he will kill himself during his farewell broadcast.
Whoa, is that really?
Network executives rethink their decision when his fanatical tirade results in a spike in ratings. It's just the most cynical movie you've ever seen. I've seen it. It's very
sick.
It's very good. Yeah, it's not. I think there are many people. This movie was written. Oh, here's why it came up. I'm remembering now.
Yeah,
it was written by Paddy Chayefsky, who wrote Marty.
Oh yes. So I wonder if we talked about it during the Marty episode.
Probably.
Yeah.
He won. I think Paddy Chayefsky won Best Original Screenplay for this year for Network, and then also I think he won for Marty.
And Marty will come up again because Marty Supreme is nominated.
Right, we'll be talking about a Marty. Finally. This
is the last one?
Yes, last one.
Whoa.
It is Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver.
Oh, wow. A movie I still have not seen, but I've been wanting to for some time.
I saw this movie when I was 12 years old, unsupervised.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
When you see it, you're going to be like, damn, he was 12 when he saw this.
I'm going to be like, that affected who he is, no doubt.
I remember I watched Inglourious Bastards, a origin story we've covered, I think, in the Hurt Locker episode.
Right.
Got really into Tarantino. Tarantino was a huge fan of Scorsese. I think I saw like a few YouTube videos where he was talking about Scorsese and talking about Taxi Driver. I was like, well, I got to watch that next. And I watched Taxi Driver. I was like, well, that's,
You're 12 years old?
12 years old.
Okay.
12 years young.
Yeah, certainly.
Watch Taxi Driver was like, that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
At 12, you thought this?
At 12, starring Robert De Niro as Travis Bickle, a Vietnam vet suffering from insomnia, who takes a job as a New York City cabbie, haunting the streets nightly, growing increasingly detached from reality as he dreams of cleaning up the filthy urban landscape. He befriends a child sex worker played by Jodie Foster. She's 12 when the movie, I think, filmed. He takes a girl. I'm not going to tell you, actually. I don't want to spoil the crazy shit that happens in that movie. It's a great, I mean, it's one of the best movies ever made.
Imagine a movie today called Uber Driver. Wouldn't work. That, where do you think that could, you don't think it would work?
No.
No? Not as gritty?
No. Those are the nominees.
That's quite a collection.
Yeah, it really is. That being said, do you think Rocky is Best Picture worthy? I'm sensing no.
We wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't think that it was. It's part of who I am. It's part of who I'm not. And if you look at this and say, it's not for me, give it another try. Reconsider. Try to look at it with fresh eyes. Because I can guarantee it'll speak to you.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, this is one of the best movies ever made. That's why it's in the final 10.
People do not agree with us, to be sure.
On the internet, really? You're kidding.
Yes. I would love to reach, if you're one of these reviewers that we're about to read your review, I hope you can reach out and connect, and we can perhaps sway you one way or another into perhaps giving this movie a second chance. I don't really like the reviews for this movie, I'll be honest. Like, all the complaints I thought were thin at best. I'm going to read them.
You have to. It's part of what we do here. I just don't want to hear that.
Yeah. But you don't have to listen, but I have to read them to you. But you do have to give me a fake name so we can hide these people's identities. So please give me the name of somebody who is just not quite a social butterfly as some others might be.
It has to be Tad Squirt.
Tad Squirt says 3.5 stars. As someone who hates small talk, this is a horror film. I guess there's a lot of small talk in this.
It's a movie mostly about small talk.
Yeah, but it's very sincere, and I think it's kind of sweet.
All I love is the Rocky Adrian scenes. I just love every single one.
The ice rink is so beautiful.
Yeah. But even when he's chatting her up in like the pet store, and like she's so shy and like isn't saying anything, but like she like kind of smiles and like watches him when he walks away, I'm like, that's sexy.
He's just so funny and like he's just so, his quips are incessant. Like, you can tell he's just been kind of sitting in his little apartment just thinking about this stuff, stabbing a mattress with a Bowie knife or whatever it is that he does. Give me the name of somebody who's really just fickle and really concise because it's a short review.
It's got to be Delby
Mm.
Lim.
Delby Lim says 2 stars. Don't like the name.
That sucks.
Okay.
Rocky's a great name.
It's one weird complaint and two, it's a great name. Give me the name of somebody who's a little bit hard of hearing.
Bosworth
Okay.
McDonough.
Oh, jeez. Sure, there was more. Bos. I do like how the names have devolved into just making up some silly guys, which I love. Bosworth Dunna, you said?
McDonough. He's
McDonough.
Irish.
Sorry, I realized he was Irish. Bosworth McDonough says 1.5 stars. Kind of buns. Could understand this guy 10% of the time. Replace him with a brick. Was kind of cool, though. Not watching any of the 20,000 sequels. Okay. Last one, Rick. Give me the name of somebody who's screaming. Just also, who watched this on Christmas. I'm just noticing.
This one is Howard Tarler.
Howard Tarler says 1 star, a paltry 1 star. Gonna fly now. Getting strong now. Also fell asleep during the final fight. Had to Google who won. Crazy. I thought Rocky won as a kid.
I think everybody thinks that. Because he
Like, what-
rematches Apollo in 2 and beats him, right?
Yeah, which defeats the entire purpose of the first movie and what made it good and unique. I don't understand.
Yeah.
So, in fact, while I'm here, 1, 3, 4, Balboa.
Balboa's underrated. I remember I've seen that one.
Those 4 these are all great movies. 2 is mid, and then 5 is frankly not good.
It's buns, as the kids say.
It's buns, yeah. Sorry.
But Creed's great. I haven't seen 2 and 3, but Creed 1, great.
If you want to include Creeds, Rocky 1,
Okay.
Rocky 3,
Nice.
Rocky 4,
Okay.
Balboa, Creed 1. All great movies. Rocky 2. Creed 3, Rocky 2.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, sorry about that. Rocky 5 and then Creed 2, I think, is probably the worst of all.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you have it.
Thanks for those reviews,
Thank you
by the
for
way.
your presence. Yeah.
Next week,
Yeah.
we are talking about, we have to finally get to it,
You have to.
perhaps the most famous movie musical ever made.
Hmm?
Robert Wise from Sound of Music is back, co-directing with Jerome Robbins. It is the 1962 Best Picture classic, West Side Story.
Side Story, yeah. Okay. This is the best musical ever made? In your heart and your eyes and your mind?
I haven't seen every one. Of the ones I've seen, this is probably the best movie musical I've seen.
I wish he hadn't said that, frankly.
Really?
Because now I'm expecting it. I'm expecting my socks to be blown.
But until next time, if you ever find yourself with no money and you're on a date with a pretty little person of yours,
Mm-hmm.
and you bring them back to your apartment
Mm-hmm.
and take your shirt off
Nice.
and they're feeling a little uncomfortable, I want you to break the ice by boiling up a few hot dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a hot
Easy
dog
thing.
dinner. They don't eat dinner when Rocky and Adrian, they don't eat dinner. He asks her, they come into his apartment. He's like, "Are you hungry? I think I got I got donuts in there. I got
donuts.
chocolates." And I'm like, God, he just eats shit all day, doesn't he? If that, boil some hot dogs, and you'll win their heart forever. And then you'll go the distance
Oh, that's beautiful. That's cute.
with just some mustard in the corners of your chompers.
Yeah, squirt some mustard in there.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that bops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners.